This is Patrick and Jack, and they're going to be my audience for my speech today. Now, I chose them to be my audience because Patrick rides a motorcycle, I ride motorcycles, and Jack is interested into getting a motorcycle. Now, let's get started. The average MotoGP bike costs $2 to $3 million to manufacture and are just as fast as F1 race cars. Now, I would like to speak about the differences between MotoGP bikes and street bikes because there are many misconceptions between them that people have. Those misconceptions include the price between MotoGP bikes and street bikes, the power and speed of MotoGP bikes versus street bikes, and finally, the lifespan of a MotoGP bike and its parts compared to a street bike and the lifespan of its parts. Alright. Now, like I already said, an average MotoGP bike will cost you $2 to $3 million, and that's all depending upon the manufacturer, and that's according to Michael Adam. Now, Philip Gomez interviewed Honda and was able to find out that one of their engines in the MotoGP industry will cost $220,000, and the brand new top-of-the-line Öhlins forks, which are the front suspension parts, cost $30,000 to manufacture and to buy. Now, MotoGP bikes and street bikes have such a big price difference because MotoGP bikes use parts that are made out of carbon fiber, titanium, and magnesium, while bikes like these cost $12,000 brand new, and they're able to cost that much because they use plastic, steel, and aluminum. Now let's get into the power, speed, and numbers part of this. Both of these bikes here are something you'd find on the streets. Both of these engines, according to Brian Catterson, make a little bit over 100 horsepower, have 600 cc's displacement, have a top speed of 160 miles an hour, and have a power to weight ratio of 1 to 4. Now, according to Max Oxley, a Ducati MotoGP bike will have a 1000 cc engine, make at least 250 horsepower, and have a top speed of 220 miles per hour. And because they're made out of parts including carbon, titanium, and magnesium, that cuts weight, making their power to weight ratios 1 to 1.6. Now, if you look at the most extreme bike that will ever be on the street, that's a Kawasaki Ninja H2R. Those bikes make 300 horsepower, have a top speed of 200 miles an hour, and have a power to weight ratio just shy of the 1 to 1.6 that MotoGP bikes have. Now, if you want to put that into perspective, the average full-size pickup makes 300 horsepower, which is the exact same as a MotoGP or as a Ninja H2R. And if you look at power to weight ratios of these things compared to trucks, they have 4.5 times the power to what they weigh. And MotoGP bikes have 12 times the power to what they weigh. Now, both MotoGP bikes and street bikes have parts that need to be maintained, but in MotoGP, all of those parts are replaced more regularly because of the conditions they're put through and the power that they're being forced to endure. Like, for example, tires, in order to get 250 horsepower down onto the track on a contact patch the size of a credit card, you need to have tires that are a lot softer and last a lot shorter than, say, these bikes here. In MotoGP bikes, those tires last one race, while these bikes have tires that will last a couple thousand miles. Say brakes, spark plugs, oil, and a couple other parts that on these bikes you regularly change out every couple thousand miles. In MotoGP, you would be changing those out every week or track day. And on top of that, these bikes here, you would be able to get over 100,000 miles if you maintain them properly, and keep them stored inside in the winter in Minnesota. While in MotoGP, you're getting a brand new bike every year just because new advancements come out in the tire world, in the frame world, and there's just a lot of advancements that go on in MotoGP that don't trickle down to the sport bike market right away. Now, all of that was according to Adam Wheeler. And MotoGP bikes, like I said, they're just more expensive. They don't last as long. And they just have a lot more power than the street bikes here on average. And I hope I conveyed that to you. I hope I got you interested in motorcycles maybe. And I hope you at least learned something today if you didn't do either of those. But you know what? I like this. This is what I like to do. And I hope you guys get interested in it too.